All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. But today it's a little different because my friend Kate here, also known as BionicDance, was never really a believer. And your parents weren't either, right? So you were kind of brought up without any beliefs.
Well, sort of. I mean, my mom's side of the family is culturally Jewish. My dad, so it's like, sure, we gave each other Hanukkah presents, but that was about it, right?
Yep.
But my dad.
What about Passover? Did you guys ever do the Passover Seders?
Yeah, we had a Seder. We did.
Food is so good, though.
Except for those matzah crackers.
Well, yeah, you need a little something to wash those down with.
Yeah. But my dad's side of the family, on the other hand, Sicilian Catholic. So my dad was sent to like Catholic schools and all that stuff, uniforms and shit, but when he became an adult, he said, well, screw this crap, and tried just about every religion under the sun. Now, I got to see a lot of it, but he never made like me or my mom participate. It was his own journey. Right. Sure. So I saw a lot of religion, and that may have helped me realize just how much it's bullshit. But I love to say the closest I came to being religious was trying really hard to use the Force, and it still only works on supermarket doors. So
you mean the ones you actually step on the thing first and then they open?
Well, they have the sensors too.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. The ones that up over top. I guess I'm thinking about the old school ones where you had to step on the little black mat that they had out and then the doors would open.
I haven't seen one of those in so long.
I know. And they never made the cool Star Trek sound either.
Well, that's because you're using the Force. It's Star Wars.
Fair enough. I should actually, that reminds me, I should probably, let me see here. Let's go with this background. How about that?
Oh, okay. All right.
Get more into the theme of things. Because you, like me, are a big sci-fi fan.
Oh, not that big. I do my exercises, I eat right, but I definitely enjoy sci-fi to a great level.
And I'm funny because I remember seeing one of your posts one time, and if I remember correctly, it was about The Last Starfighter.
Oh, I loves me The Last Starfighter. I does.
Right. And I remember going to see that myself in the theater, and then trying to level as high as I could on any video game in hopes that some alien race would come down and scoop me up and to help save the universe or something like that. Did you ever try anything like that?
Oh, sure. Of course I did. There were a lot of things I tried because of sci-fi that unfortunately never came to fruition. I still haven't met, okay, I'm adopted, and I understand you are as well. Yep. One thing I actually looked up that I thought was kind of wacky is that you'd think the most common fantasy adoptees would have about their birth parents would be that they're deposed royalty and one day they'll show up and take you back to the kingdom and all of that. But it turns out that far, far more common, at least these days, is my parents are space aliens and they'll come to take me to the home world. And I gotta tell you, growing up as a kid in the 80s, where, you've got movies like E.T. and The Last Starfighter and Explorers and all of that. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, granted, was 70s, but still, one grows up as a child surrounded by that stuff. One starts to get fantasies about making friends with aliens. There's it's a thing.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. I remember we had to do a book report. So I did a book report of me and a couple of my friends were sitting up on the baseball diamond, staring up at the stars, and all of a sudden the ship came down and beamed all three of us up and endowed us with powers, and we went and helped them save the universe. And of course, my teacher was like, "This is a little not what I was looking for." I'm like, well, okay, excuse me for using my imagination.
Yeah. Right? Well,
but,
yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, but I think that was the only time I really ever did something like that in a public sphere, like in school or something like that. Every other time it was just me and a bunch of friends goofing around most of the time. Star Wars figures, that kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. And, at the time I was just a little bit too young to get the Last Starfighter tattoo.
Oh, that is awesome. You were talking about it being adopted, and I'm actually at my biological dad's house right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, up in Summerland, British Columbia.
Huh.
And
okay.
It's summer. I'll put it that way. It's like 30 degrees here almost, which is close over 80 something, I think, in Fahrenheit. So 80,
Gotcha.
almost 90 degrees of Fahrenheit. So it's pretty
It
warm.
actually has not been that roasty here in Southern California, but San Diego has what we know as May gray and June gloom. So it's actually like reverse from Seattle, where I used to live, where in Seattle is like, what, 2.5 months out of the year is actually sunny summer and the rest of it's overcast gray. Well, reverse those proportions here in San Diego.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very close to where I normally live down on the coast. Very same weather as Seattle, pretty much. It's that whole Pacific Northwest thing.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say, in a way, I'm both envious and not that you've managed to find your bio parents, because mine left what they call non-identifying info, but that's not enough to necessarily track them down. So
I got lucky, actually. I tried to find them in the late 80s to no avail. And if you hear the chattering in the background, it's my dad and his girlfriend. My biological mom passed away back in 2013. So, and I tried to find them to no avail because there was no information that I could find about them. But one day I got a call from my biological sister, who I didn't know at the time, and she introduced herself, and we hooked up with the whole family, and things were good. I mean, I had 2 full-blooded sisters, and my birth mom and birth dad, and I've known them ever since. So that was in 2000. In the year 2000, I met them. So it's 20 years now. It's a good chunk of my life now. So
those sounds I was hearing apparently are on my end. Oops. Sorry, there was this loud blast of static out of my speakers. I was afraid it might have been on your end. If anyone saw me wincing at the beginning of this, that was just because my stereo went bonko. So
your stereo, what, bit the biscuit?
No. There's like a loose wire or something, and if I put my foot in the wrong place, it buzzes.
Oh, I see. Thank you, Casa. Casa was saying sorry to hear about my mom. Yeah, it was a shock when it happened because they were down in Yuma, and my dad had gone for a nap, and my mom, I guess, was on the computer working on a crossword puzzle, and she had what they think was like an embolism or something, and she died right there. It was instantaneous, so there was no suffering or anything, which is, makes you feel a little bit better, I suppose, if you have to. But anyways, so with your family actually having some religion, did any of them try to lure you in at all?
Oh, gosh, no.
No? Okay.
No, definitely not. My dad, like I said, went on his own religious journey. And in the end, he started seeing my videos and went, yeah, okay, it's all bullshit. So basically, I deconverted my dad.
Bravo. I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
so,
fantastic.
it's religion has never been a huge part of my life. I saw a lot of it, but it wasn't until later when we started having YouTube where I was like, there is a lot to say about religious misbehavior.
Yeah.
Because, I mention all the time that what I do, I see it more as activism against religious people being unable to share and play nicely with the other kids than it is about necessarily refuting religion. I just think that refuting religion is the best way to dispose of it.
Yep, I would agree with that for sure. And you're absolutely right. Watching the behavior of them and then calling them out for the bad behavior, like when they want to legislate against basic human rights for certain marginalized groups, that's when I get pissed off and I raise my voice, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'm okay with it if they want to go sit in a corner somewhere and fume about the fact that some people are gay or whatever. Some people are having sex out of marriage or whatever. How much of this comes down to sex for these people anyway? But they have all of these wacky ideas and prejudices and stuff. And you know what? I mean, if you want to be grouchy about all of those things, go right ahead. Just, do it over there and quietly.
Yeah, amongst your friends. Don't involve anybody else, right?
Like, until someone actually starts abusing you for your religion, shut up.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we abuse anyone because of their religion. Remember, we're attacking the ideas, not so much the people themselves, right?
I mean, yes and no.
There's some that we attack, like Darth Dawkins.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some people out there who definitely need to be told, that's not okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess even then it does come down to the ideas. It's just like I'm arguing against their application by certain
Mhm.
people.
Right. Exactly. Well, here's a quick little picture. This is kind of just off of topic of what we were talking about before, but here's a picture of my dad. This is from years ago, and it's on a mug. And tell me if I look like him.
I mean, I can kind of see it, but he looks like he wants to sell me some tires.
Well, he was the manager of a produce section at what we call Save On Foods here. So,
Okay. Well, not quite the salesman I was thinking of, but seriously, my first thought was, come on down to Tire Village. We'll replace your worn out treads. And that's just, yeah. But not so far into the, crazy Eddie, my prices are insane. Come down to my car lot. Not quite there.
he does. Not anymore, but he did then.
Mike Ditka, that's football in it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's funny because and I've mentioned this on other people's streams. I really don't I don't go in for sports much unless there's like the words laser or tag in them. Well, I played Ultimate for a while and that was actually a lot of fun. But way back in the day, I was an Xbox tester and they ended up making me play this for quite a while. And when I was done, they gave me a copy. And so everything I know about football comes from playing this Xbox game.
Wow. It looks well used.
It is. Well, I mean, this is what, NFL Fever 2004. So it's pretty old.
I'm going to assume that you are at expert level on that game by now.
No, I spent like 8-9 years never ever playing it. I only just recently, because like the whole quarantine thing and everyone's fucking bored, right? So I went out and found the like missing cable I needed to hook up my old Xbox 360, and it still works, wonder of wonders. And I figured, what the hell? I'll play this game for nostalgia's sake. So it's just sitting right here.
Here you go. BigZebra.com says, and that's how BionicDance developed a love of football.
Well, every year I watch the Super Bowl, but that's it. I pick who's going to win based on who has the prettiest helmets.
What about the year that the Hawks were in, the Seahawks? Did you root for them?
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember even who was playing last year. I just remember watching it and being disappointed because the people whose helmets I like best lost.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's been a lot of what do you call kind of dynasties over the past while. Like you got the Patriots and whatnot that have been winning like almost every other year and whatnot. So, but you know what they say: you pay for the win, right? You buy the players.
Well, what I remember from the Patriots last time was like their quarterback or whatever was like this uber religious dude who couldn't help mentioning God after they won.
Of course, because God was on their team, right? I saw the tickets. It was says I'm betting on this team. I'm God, because I need money because I can't just snap my fingers and money would appear.
Well, I mean, I seem to remember like there was a website that had adjusted today's Super Bowl ticket prices into like, I don't know, 1980, 1950 or something. It was like some crazy huge amount of money where it's like thousands of dollars for one ticket to the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
Oh, sure. But they have aftermarket guys who buy batches of these things and then resell them for profit too, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you want to get decent tickets for Super Bowl, you're going to pay for it.
Well, the only reason I brought it up at all is because I wanted to make sure I knew who the hell Mike Ditka was.
That's true. All this from that one little thing that somebody mentioned.
I would be hard pressed to name more than 5 players at all ever, and I think 3 of them would probably be Dan Marino. But one thing that was fun with this is like, the announcers will tell you what's happening during the game and all of that stuff, the way like trying to make it seem like it's on TV. But you can customize the teams, and they have a bunch of like preset team names so that the announcers can say the names. And they all came with like outfits and stuff. So I renamed my team the Pansies. And then have like these yellow and magenta flower uniforms and stuff. And yeah, it's
That's awesome. The pansies.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. Actually, it reminds me of an old Seattle band, not called the Pansies, but I think they were called the Posies.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the Pixies, but I don't think that's a Seattle band.
No, Posies. Their big hit, if you could call it a hit college radio, anyways, was called "Suddenly Mary," and it's a lot light. It wasn't like the grunge; it was more lighthearted. It was more
what did they call it? Cuddlecore?
Not so much cuddlecore because they weren't heavy really at all. They were very melodic and rhythmic.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a mix of hippie-ish kind of sound to it, and I quite liked them. They were a nice little change from the grunge angst, like we had spoken about before, the teen angst of grunge that was there.
Don't even get me started. The 90s, everyone was just wallowing in pathos through the whole decade. I hated it.
Yes.
I mean, growing up as a kid in the 80s with all the neon and chrome and like, I admit, kind of naively optimistic and upbeat sitcoms and movies and stuff, but still, that was my bread and butter. That was my childhood right there. And so, yeah, when everything shifted in the 90s and it was all, I mean, I like counterculture to a degree, but not all of the, that came along with it. So,
the angst and woe is me and downtrodden. Yeah. It was all part of it. And yeah, I'll admit I was into that because I was in that scene at the time musically, but I liked other stuff too, and still dug the 80s, the upbeat stuff, like you mentioned, like your favorite band.
Roxette.
Exactly.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Casa.
Because, Roxette.
I'm not that cool. Yeah. I mean, you got to like the band in order.
A little bit of a fan.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, rest in peace. I remember you posted when she had passed away.
Marie Fredriksson, yeah. That sucked. I just, I mean, I knew they were probably never going to tour again. I was holding out hope that there'd be another album, but, well, yeah.
Honestly, how many albums did they have in total? It was like 7 or 8, I think.
Let's see. Okay, so there was Pearls of Passion, Look Sharp, Joyride, Crash Boom Bang. Then it gets a little murky because I'm not sure. One of them was sort of a greatest hits, but it also had extra songs on us. That was Don't Bore Us, Get to the Chorus. There's also Tourism and, what's that one called? I can picture the album cover in my head, but for the love of me, I cannot remember the name of it. And then there was Have a Nice Day, and I'm dumb. I don't know, but yeah, it was like 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, I figured it was around there if I remember correctly. I used to work in the record stores, so I'm kind of have all these bizarre memories and things that trivia, right? That from working there.
Well, I worked in 4 video stores, so if you need someone connected to Kevin Bacon.
Did you write the book?
I did not, but seriously, like there is a technique to it where there are just certain movies that have large ensemble casts of people who are in every damn thing that connect directly to Kevin Bacon. Like, for example, Jurassic Park. If you can connect anyone to Jurassic Park, well, Kevin Bacon is one step away because Ariana Richards was in Tremors with Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Yeah, just little things like that where it's just so easy to connect him up. I mean, hell, just about anything by James Cameron. Like Aliens had Paul Reiser in it, who was in Diner with Kevin Bacon. Yeah. So Diner's a good movie. There are just certain, I guess you could call them hub movies, where it's like this radiating cast. I mean, again, Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum was in The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, which had like everybody, Peter Weller, Clancy Brown, and why am I blanking on their names? Yes, Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd, and why am I blanking on his name? John Lithgow, and the dude who played the guy for hire or whatever in Breaking Bad. Why am I so totally blanking on his name? He was also in Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, I don't. What? No, different guy. and Judge Reinhold wasn't in Buckaroo Banzai. But I mean, the point being is that this
No,
movie
he
has
wasn't.
so many famous ass people in it that you can easily connect anyone to Kevin Bacon through it. So, you just find those movies and then someone gives you an obscure ass actor and you go, oh yeah, okay, I can walk it this many steps to. Anyway, yeah, it's just think you talk about knowing bands really well. Me, it's movies and actors.
Right. Yeah, my whole bag was the music scene. Because I'm a musician and have been for many, many years. Not really a musician. I'm just a singer. I'm the guy that hangs out with the musicians.
I thought you played guitar.
Very badly. I can pull off some like really shitty 12-bar blues, but that's about it.
See, I tried to learn to play guitar and I got as far as Butchering Scotland the Brave. And then my fingers really started to hurt. And I was like, why is this fun again? So I stopped.
You got to get past the points of calluses or of the bleeding. So it forms calluses. So then you can go all ham on the neck and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. And I was also really bad at just the strumming because it looked like there were some chords where you were supposed to strum, but miss a couple of strings in the middle while you're doing it. And I have no idea how to manage that. It's like strum the pick over the first two, like the first two strings. And then what do? You like bunny hop over the ones you're supposed to miss. I didn't understand. I was like, I either need a real teacher or I need to focus on my animation. Guess which one I picked?
I'm going to assume it was not the guitar. Well, you're good at the animation. I mean, one of the ones you did one time, a shorter one, I guess, for a trail end of one of your videos is where you're in that big fucking mech warrior robot blasting everyone in the robot. That was fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, I had fun with that. I think the one I'm most proud of though has to be the sniper.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
And
There's one I was working on and I never did finish it because of some technical issues I couldn't resolve that actually I can resolve now. Where one of my characters, actually not Sandra this time, I was going to be Kinneara Baxter from that old webcomic I used to do, was going to fight a character named Dogma, who was an anthropomorphic Doberman Pinscher. And I one of these days I ought to go back to that and finish it.
Yes, you should. I mean, I just love the name alone, Dogma.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've got this big, huge sci-fi project I'm working on right now. So other animations are going to have to wait until I'm done with it.
The Sniper one is great. So you got other fans out there. Yeah. How long do you figure till you're finished that project?
Oof, I have no idea. I mean, it's going really well and it's some of my best work ever, but there are a couple of times where I've had a shot that's so complicated. It takes me like 2-3 days to finish it. And it's 3 seconds long. Like I have this one shot of these two characters hugging. And I don't know if you've ever done CGI, 3D CGI, but making two characters interact with each other in a way like that, where solid objects have to hit other solid objects, like arms have to wrap around backs without popping through them. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So it took me a really long time to finish that one shot. But most of what I've got ahead of me for a while anyway is mostly lip sync, which is more of a time-consuming grind than a how the hell do I do this kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see. Fortunately, I have a render farm, so I can keep working while it's rendering.
Oh, that's not it. No, I don't do CGI. Stop it, Stephen. Is your work on YouTube?
Oh, I should say so. Yes, indeed. If you hop on YouTube and type in BionicDance, no space. Stop doing that. You'll find my videos.
I did that for the first while too. Like Randolph here has done it too. Wait, what? Apparently you need a Santa Claus character?
I see. Apparently I should be using your noggin for that.
Apparently. The long hair. Yeah, but I don't have a Santa beard, pal. So
yeah, it's true. It's more of a biker thing than Santa Claus.
Biker Santa.
Yeah. Well, I could see it. I
driving around on a fucking flying Harley. There you go.
I remember there was a cartoon I saw a while back where Santa, like people were going, how the hell does Santa get around the entire earth and deliver presents? And it turns out wormholes.
Yep, that's right. That's the best explanation that we can come up with. And that's how he can do it in a single night in less than like 12 hours.
Well, I mean, that's what he did. With like he had a little remote thingy, like a garage door opener, and and swirling wormhole that he flew the sleigh through.
I'm going to pretend that I know what CGI is. Computer generated imagery is what CGI stands for.
Yes.
Just
And
so you
no, not bionic dance, lesbianic dance.
there you go. Biker Santanil would rule. I don't know about that. I don't believe in all that nonsense, so I think it would be pretty silly if I actually went out. Actually, it might be fun to fly around the world using wormholes on a space bike.
I would totally do that. I
Right?
would jump at that opportunity, I have to say.
Well, I'd be the guy to be like, one present for you, two presents for me, one present for this kid, two presents for me.
Yeah.
Cat grooming interface? No, Stephen, that's not what CGI stands for.
I mean, if one of my cats was around, where are they? They're getting into trouble, aren't they? I would show you the cat grooming interface. It's sort of, right here. Right. Or actually, no. I take that back. I got one of these. This cat brush thing. I could, yeah. So this is CGI right here.
Now they're just being silly now. They're putting all the gaps in places.
Yeah.
Come on, you guys.
They're not doing the extraordinarily childish, like, if you're online like this and you're in the public eye a lot, people will start giving you unflattering nicknames. But I'm sorry, bubonic dunce doesn't even make sense. I mean, if you're going to try to insult me, people, at least like do it well. Craft your insults a bit. But I get bubonic dunce all the time, and I'm just like, really, guys? I mean, I'm not going to be insulted by that just because, wow, it's dumb.
It is. Well, yeah, I've yet to be given any nicknames other than that long-haired asshole. So,
well,
yeah. And I thought that I would start getting confused with R and Raw, to be honest, because
nah.
Well, I know he looks way more mean than I do.
Which is funny because he's such a nice guy.
I know. I have a great picture of the two of us standing side by side. I'm actually wearing this very shirt in the picture.
Oh, nice. I've actually got a picture of him dressed up as Worf. Standing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Worf. I came close. I went as a Bajoran one year.
All right.
Yeah. I think I've posted it on Twitter before. You just may not have seen it.
Maybe. I to be honest, I didn't use Twitter with any kind of regularity until quite recently. Okay. I find the format so limiting because of the character limit, and I trend toward the verbose, you may have noticed. So yeah, I mean, I've started using it more, especially since Facebook started getting a bit more draconian about their bans.
Right.
And although actually they seem to have relaxed it a bit for the pandemic, for the quarantine, because I said something that they apparently decided went against community regulation standards, whatever. Yeah, that and they didn't block me in any way. They just said knock it off. Or maybe they just decided that saying fuck French Canadians wasn't that bad.
Probably not. I think you're good. But here's me in Star Trek uniform pointing a phaser at the camera. And I realize
that picture.
Yeah, I kind of look like a Klingon right there anyways, but sure. But yeah, I do have a full uniform. I had the pants tailor-made, little red piping to go around the bottom, just like they have on the show. Yeah, I was quite the nerd back then. And of course, if you look at myself and Aaron together, we're almost fucking identical in a lot of ways. There you go.
Well, nah, I could tell you two apart.
Oh yeah, my hair's much grayer than his, but it's longer than his.
Yeah, but you've also got the chin pubes in a completely different configuration.
Fair enough. Chin pubes. I haven't heard that one used in quite some time.
No?
No, people, I didn't actually pull them and then glue them on or anything. This is real. It grows in there.
Okay, here.
Don't laugh. I had a friend that did that.
Like, share that picture real quick.
I will do so.
Because that is Aaron Ra dressed as Worf.
Oh my goodness.
He's got the Klingon sash and everything, although it looks like it's headed in the wrong direction. Pretty sure Worf has it the other way. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's just, like I said, Aaron Ra, Klingon.
That's a great shot. Do you have you can send me a copy of that too, right? Because I got to bring that one out next time I see him.
I can. I'll send it to you on Twitter or something. Remind me.
Sure. I will, for sure. Because that's just brilliant. And then I'll have to post our pictures together and say, there you go, the two of us being all Trekkie nerd like.
Well, I remember at Faithless Forum, you remember they would have people up at the table and ask them questions, just random ask questions. And one of the questions someone got asked, and I wish it had been my question, was, without using the words biker or scary, describe Aaron Ra. And I was like, oh, I want to do this one because he looks like the unholy spawn of a Klingon and Genghis Khan.
Which is bang on, if you ask me. He just
yeah.
doesn't have the forehead ridges as much as the Klingons do, right?
But still, I mean,
if Genghis had forehead ridges.
It's funny. I did one of those 23andMe things a while back. And one of the things I found out by talking to people is that a very huge number of folks who do the test, it tells you your racial origins, will have country, Genghis Khan, country, like that. Whereas it's just apparently because Genghis Khan screwed his way through the entire world, a lot of people just have Genghis Khan blood without really not even Asian dude blood. It's specifically him.
Yep. I've heard this before too. And another one, apparently, at least in my family line, is Rob Roy.
Huh.
Yeah. So
okay.
That's kind of interesting. My sister did it some years ago. She did the whole family tree genealogy and all that stuff, right? So she looked up through the records. She didn't actually do the 23andMe. She went to the actual physical family tree records that was started by a cousin of ours, and she just got into it.
Completely indirectly, Rob Roy is one of the reasons why I argue that Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie.
I've never really cared for that argument at all. Sure, it's a Christmas movie. It's Christmas themed, anyways.
Well, I mean, if people
it's more
want
of an action film that happens at Christmas, in my opinion, but we
well,
call it a Christmas movie. Sure.
But when people get snarky about it, I can point out that Bruce Willis called him. He said he's always been partial. Oh wait, not Rob Roy. Sorry, I'm thinking of Roy Rogers. Never mind, I'm completely off. It's the Roy.
I got
no idea. I got screwed up by the Roy. Okay.
All right. So I think. Wait a minute. Rob Roy wasn't even close to being a cow. Well, you could say he was kind of cowboy-esque in back old jolly old England, but
I suppose it's hard to picture a British cowboy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even going to attempt to make an accent on that one.
Right.
How do you do a Southern crossed with British accent?
I don't know.
Start sounding Welsh. That's what. Sorry, Pastor Mike. I know you're Welsh, and I am part Welsh too, so I can say stuff like that. So I found out, meeting, of course, the biological family, I got to know a little bit more about my roots. So that was always really cool to find out about that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things they told me when I took the 23andMe test. Basically, what it comes down to is I'm a little bit of everything except Asian. I need Asian to complete the set. But other than that, I've got just about everywhere else going on. It's crazy.
Right on. How much did that cost you anyways to do that 23andMe?
About like $100, give or take.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was more than that. For some reason, I was thinking it was around 200, to be honest. But I think there's different levels you can do.
Well, and it might be that they've changed it because I did that test 5 years ago, give or take. So, they might have bumped up those prices.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can get a basic one done, and then you can get a more intensive one done. And then there's even a level above that where they can get right down into the nitty-gritty of everything.
Well, to bring us full circle, one of the reasons I did it was to see if I had any relatives out there, like biological ones. And I found a fourth cousin once removed or some shit. and that was it. You know, so I was like, well, I guess I'm not finding anyone who's like, you know, going, oh, hey, long lost relative, come to Thanksgiving or anything, you know.
Damn it, free meals. Fuck.
Mm.
Especially Thanksgiving. I mean, I love stuffing, so or dressing, as they call it in some places.
Do
Like
they?
dressing. It's called dressing.
But dressing is what goes on a salad.
That's what I said. Either that or you stick it to the outside of the turkey. But no, we stuff it inside the turkey. That's why here we call it stuffing. But in England, they call it dressing, apparently.
Crazy. There's a lot of stuff they say in England that just, I like. I mean, some of it makes sense. Like, I can understand why they might call chips crisps, you know?
And fries chips.
Why they might call chips crisps. I can understand that because they are kind of crispy.
Sure.
You know, but like calling fries chips doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, chips off of the potato, not
slices.
Chips. Well,
they're still slices.
They're actually julienne.
Lengthwise slices.
Lengthwise slices, yeah. Well, that's a julienne style, which is French. That's why they call them French fries.
Ah. Oh, wait. I think you mean freedom fries.
Of course, how could I forget? What the hell was that from again?
That was like when the French didn't join the Iraq War or something, and so everyone started calling them cheese-eating surrender monkeys and insisted on renaming anything that had French in the name with like freedom instead. So instead of French fries, it was freedom fries. It was like absolutely stupid. I'm pretty sure it was a George W. Bush thing. I don't know, but yeah.
Everyone's arguing in the chat now about the stuffing. I have there's some English / British / British Isles folks there. What the fuck? We call it stuffing. All right, fair enough if you call it stuffing. My friend's mom, who's also from England, called it dressing. So that's why I kind of thought of that.
I remember some folks being completely boggled by the concept of biscuits being cookies. You know, they're like, I want some biscuits and gravy for breakfast. And everyone was like, what? You know, so.
Yeah. See, we've been lied to the entire time.
Belgium. Well, I mean, don't they speak French in Belgium? I think they do. I remember there was a dude, like, I realized Switzerland is not Belgium, but I knew a Swiss dude who was, like, in my junior high classes who spoke French. And I think they speak French in a lot of other places, too.
Cookies and gravy, ew. Maybe, because I've never heard of a language called Belgish. So.
Well, I imagine they would have called it Belgian.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. Actually, that's something I've often wondered is how, like, why was it decided that certain suffixes would indicate nationality for certain countries but not others? Like, why aren't people from Japan the Japanish? Why are they Japanese? You know, people from China, Chinanian. I don't know. Like, who decided that? And using what criteria?
I think it's just whatever sounded best, maybe,
although I'm terribly amused by Japanish.
Casa Mufasa likes it too. They speak French and German in Belgium. She thinks.
Yeah.
Belgish is Flemish. Flemish is not Belgian though.
I just know I don't want to speak Esperanto.
Hey, Dragnet Silver. Oh, you finally got a notification. Right on. So that must be when you unsubbed and resubbed. That probably kicked that in properly. That's awesome. Belgians speak French and Flemish. There you go. Thank you, Pierre.
Flemish.
You see, even I learn things every day. Finally learned how to tie my shoes this morning. And then I went and put slip-ons on.
Yeah, you know what? One of the most embarrassing moments of childhood for me. You remember in the 80s they had Velcro shoes?
Yes, I never owned a pair.
I did, And after like a year or two, completely forgot how to tie shoelaces because I hadn't done it for many, many years. So here I am in elementary school and it's gym class and they say, okay, we're doing roller skating today. And
Yeah.
I realized I couldn't tie the damn skates because I hadn't had to in so long, I'd forgotten how. And it was really embarrassing.
Well, if you get out of practice of doing something, it can be quite easy to remember. I mean, but I don't know. For me, like tying shoes is like riding a bike. No.
Well, I mean, my age was still in the single digits.
Oh yes, it is. Right. The attention span thing. A
Yeah.
drag, you're always shirtless. Who are you kidding? Well, except
Oh,
when
you
you
know, underneath these clothes, I am completely naked.
yeah, me too. But let's not go there. I don't want to scare
You are
people.
not naked underneath my clothes.
Well, all right, valid point. There's an unfortunate childhood memory. Yeah, yeah. I never did the Velcro shoes came out when I was past, I guess, the age group that they were basically aimed at to begin with. But I saw them coming in adult sizes a little afterwards, of course. And you still see them today. They still have them. But
So wait, how elderly are you?
how elderly? I'm 53, actually.
Okay, gotcha. So about
I know,
9 years
I don't
older than
act-
my dumb butt.
I don't act anywhere near that. But
Oh gosh, no. Growing
mean,
up is for suckers. I intend to never do it.
well, growing up is actually optional. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. That's why I have that T-shirt that says "I'm not like most teens. I'm in my 50s." Right? So,
Well, you know, I gotta say, if I was offered that one-way trip to Never Never Land to hang out with Peter Pan, I'd totally do it.
oh, fuck, I'd be right behind you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Are you kidding me? You go there and pretend that there's food, and then it suddenly appears. That's great. Well, that was, mind you, that was Hook, wasn't it? That was Hook, I think, where that came in.
Oh, you mean the version they did with Robin Williams?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen that in so long. I have it on disc and I haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah,
I totally
when
should.
eating and all that yummy looking food pops on the table. He's
Sounds
like,
a
I don't
little-
see anything. And they're all like, nom, nom. And he's like, well, it's right here. Can't you see it? And then he focuses his childhood imagery in his mind and suddenly the food appears. And then, of course, the food fight breaks out. And there's
Well, of course.
bright pink and green and orange and blue food flying across the table.
Ah, blue food.
Something Star Wars.
Sorry, hold on. Columbia stepped on the power switch to one of my other computers.
Oh, maybe she wants to play a game.
Nah, she just likes to stand on that computer for some reason. And like the top of it is it has this little button recessed on the top of it. So when she walks over here, she tends to tread upon the button a lot. So I had to, yeah. It's my VR machine.
Oh, cool. I've yet to try one of those. My old bass player, Pete, had one, and he scared me because he says, yeah, you can get really, really motion sick if you're prone to motion sickness.
It depends what you're doing. I mean, it's not so bad if you're playing something where you yourself are physically moving. But if you're playing a game where you're like sitting in a car or dogfighting in an airplane or something, the fact that you're seeing motion but not feeling it with your inner ear can really mess with some people.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of, if I'm not moving, I would probably be affected by that too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm getting better with that. I don't know if you're familiar with the game Elite Dangerous, but there's a lot of, well, the whole game is flying a spaceship, and after a while, it got a lot easier to, like, be okay with that disparity of actual motion and apparent motion.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite VR game has to be this. It's more of a sport, really, called Spark. It's like a cross between like squash and dodgeball with a Tron motif. It's really cool.
That's cool. What's the name of that one?
Spark. SPARC. Spark.
What am I thinking? You already said that.
Yeah.
And do you have to download that, or does it come like
Oh no,
regular
you have to buy it separately, but you know, I mean, it's out for most of the major systems anyway.
games? That's cool. How many different VR systems are there now?
Well, I know of Oculus Rift and the variants of the Oculus technology. There's also HTC Vive, which I don't like because the controllers are kind of fucked up. And there's also PlayStation VR, and there's probably others that I'm blanking on, but there's at least those.
Very cool. The Oculus one is the one I think I'm most familiar with because I think it's probably the first one that I ever heard about. Other than I don't know if you could say PS4 3D would count, but because it's not really VR.
No.
But I think you can you not get for the new PS5 that's coming out, I think they have goggles you can wear now for virtual reality. I'm not sure. I heard that somewhere, and it may not even be correct. So, but I heard about it and thought that would be an interesting addition to the PS stuff for sure.
Well, you remember I was talking before about my Xbox 360 and getting that set back up. That is the last console system I owned. All my gaming has been on PC since then.
Has it really?
Yes.
Do you prefer the PC?
I do. I find that there's like, you know, I can control things with a keyboard. I can control things with a mouse. I can also control things with a controller. And like my PC tends to be rather more souped up than most console systems would be. So I prefer gaming on my PC. It's just easier.
Yeah, that's why I bought the Alienware stuff because it's good for gaming too. And I want to download all the N64 games that I used to love when I had an N64, like the Mario Kart and the GoldenEye. And you can download it right from the internet and get the emulators. And you can actually plug in the original controllers through USB, right? You get a little 4-piece hub that you can put 4 controllers in and plug it right in there. And when I saw, I was playing Mario Kart with Drew, genetically modified skeptic, and he kicked my ass like 8 games to 1, I think, or something like that.
Well, I remember
I played
at Faithless Forum, Surus had brought a gaming console with him. And I remember playing one of those. I think it was one of the Smash Brothers games. I don't know.
Sweet.
I just remember getting my ass royally kicked, largely because I didn't know what the controls were.
Right.
You know, I'm sitting there going, do something, do that thing, the thing, jump. That's not jump. What the hell? You know, like maybe if I had 10, 20, 30 minutes to get familiar with how my character moved and attacked and all this other stuff, I might have been able to do something. But the whole time I'm just sitting there going, I am so lost.
Did he bring that with him to Faithless Forum?
He did.
What that sucker was holding out on me.
I remember playing it. We were down in the lobby. It was the same time a bunch of us were playing 2 as well.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
So Vesta Freya has a question here.
Yes, I have a cat named Columbia. I do not have another cat named Magenta. And Columbia is only half named after the Rocky Horror Picture Show character. She's also named after the space shuttle.
Right. That's the one that exploded, right?
Well, one of the 2 that exploded.
Oh, the first one, I mean.
No,
like
the
in
first
the
one
80s?
was Challenger.
Oh, that's right. I always get them backwards for some reason.
Well, they do start with C, I suppose.
Maybe. Either that or I'm just dumb. That's pretty much what it is.
I was being charitable.
I appreciate it.
But my other cat, his name is Xander, and you can figure out where that name came from on your own. I'm sure most of us are geeky enough to get the reference. So,
Xander, why does that sound familiar?
No? Xander Harris? Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh my goodness, yes, okay. And now yeah, the little light bulb, the tiny little LED bulb in the back of my brain just went boop.
Yeah.
So, now, yeah, okay. That's right. Columbia is the one that burned up on re-entry. That's right. Thanks, Anna. All right. Well, so you didn't really have much religious influence in your life, which is kind of cool. I mean, other than just doing the holidays, like I was also raised Jewish. And I always thought it was kind of funny. If God has a plan and he wants everyone to follow his son Jesus, then why was I born to a Christian couple, but then raised as a Jew? The people that don't believe in Jesus. That's some fucked up plan.
Well, I mean, my parents, like I say, not very religious. We did Christmas largely as a capitalist holiday, getting stuff, making cookies, putting up a tree, It's like as secular
fun.
as Christmas can possibly get.
It's fun, right?
And have you ever noticed how there seems to be an inverse relationship to how upbeat a Christmas carol is and how religious it is?
Mhm.
Like the more religious it is, the more likely it is to be in a minor key and probably unpleasant to hear. Whereas if it's the more secular it is, like Frosty and Rudolph and all that stuff, the more likely it is to be upbeat and peppy and fun.
Yep.
What's that about?
I don't know. Well, as far as I can tell, most religions want to keep you depressed.
Ah, yes.
That way they can lift you up.
Right. Yes.
That's what I've found anyways. But because it's come to think of it, there weren't really any Hanukkah songs other than that fucking annoying as shit dreidel song.
Dreidel, yeah. But one thing about being raised largely non-religious and then becoming an outspoken atheist is I kind of feel a little left out at times. You always hear these like amazing deconversion stories from people that sound really exciting. Could have been movie of the week on television, that kind of thing. And here I am going, yeah, I never believed in God. I didn't lose my whole family when I told them I don't believe. I didn't have to reorganize my automatic responses to certain stimuli that were like instilled into me by my religious family. I don't have any of those stories. And so it's like, I watch other people's stories and I'm amazed, but me, I'm just like, this is so boring. I make videos. Ooh, that's it.
Yeah, but you make good videos. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be a patron, Kate. I mean, let's face it, you make really good content.
Well, thank you. And I do appreciate the whole patron thing. Whenever I put up the scroll of who my patrons are and your name comes up, I'm like, oh yeah.
That's right. That guy does do that. That's right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, she did them alphabetically. I'm going to go get a beer. I'm going to come back. Oh, there's mine.
Well, the truth is that they're only mostly alphabetical because whenever I get a new patron, I now add them onto the end. And so it's like alphabetical until you get to the last sixth or so. And the last sixth of that scroll is not alphabetical.
Just all scrambled letters.
Although one thing I think I do have to do soon is go through and see who is still a patron, who isn't, because I haven't edited my list in ages. Okay. Like a while back, I did that for the first time in like 3-4 years. And I realized, wow, okay, look at all the people that don't donate anymore. Oops, okay. So I compressed the list down to a much smaller number, and it was easier to display. Because I mean, honestly, if I display it over my bloopers, and if I didn't make too many boo-boos, that scroll goes by at light speed, and no one can read anyone's name. So,
I've actually seen one of them like that.
So it's probably for the best to do a little triage and get some of those superfluous names out of there. So if you have been a patron, I stepped on that cord again. So if you have been a patron and then you lapsed and you still want your name to be in the scroll,
get back in there.
Yeah.
Either Kristen or IQ, you could probably pop the Patreon link again in the chat, because I do have it in the description below as well, as well as all of Kate's where you should be following her or subbing to her and whatnot. It's all down there. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you say we pick this up into an after party?
I mean, I totally could. Not for very long, though, because it's almost 5 p.m. here. 6 p.m. is when I feed the little fur monsters, and also when I take my brain meds. So,
Okie
like,
dokie.
they've still got me on that stuff, even despite the surgery being successful. They said 2 more years, and then we can take you off the anti-seizure meds.
Wow. So they have to keep are they doing that just to sort of be safe, or
I think so, yeah, largely.
make sure?
Because, I mean, I'm coming up on like 2 years seizure-free now, so...
Right. I remember you before you were going into it, you were talking about what was going to come up there. And I just remember when it was getting close and you went in to get everything done, and myself and a couple other folks were like, be okay. Be okay. Because it's just not going to be the same around here without you.
What I remember is when they canceled it on me at the last second and then like rescheduled it for 2 days later, whatever it was. And I was just like so freaked out because, like someone carving into your head meats is not exactly the kind of thing you can just like do enthusiastically. It requires a smidgen of courage or two, So, when I'm all keyed up and ready to do it, and then all of a sudden, bam, they cancel on you. It's like, but I got all worked up and I was ready to do it. And like, but they got it done a few days later and it all worked out. So I think really the only negative consequence is that like my parents came to visit for the surgery and also for my cousin Adam's wedding. And like, I went to the wedding. It was like 3 days after the surgery had been done, and I was way too tired to get out onto the dance floor. That was like the biggest setback I suffered from getting that surgery done.
Right.
So, no big deal is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So going a couple of years, had you had a couple of years space between seizures before you went to the surgery, or did they happen more often?
No. They usually happened on at least a weekly basis, if not more.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, mind you, they were pretty minor unless I screwed up and ate something I shouldn't have because they were triggered by food, right?
Okay.
And so if I like screwed up and ate something that I shouldn't have or didn't know that something was something I shouldn't have or whatever, I could end up having a bad one. But most of the time it was just disorientation, really.
Okay.
Although if you want to find what a full-on seizure for me looked like, there is a video on my channel. I believe I called it just My Epilepsy or something like that. And you can see me in a hospital bed having a full-on seizure. And it looks like nothing so much as me trying to conduct an orchestra with a mouthful of peanut butter. So like seriously, one of my hands starts doing this and I start making these chewing like that. And you can see me in a hospital bed with electrodes, like EEG stuff going on my head, and you can just watch me have a seizure from the camera in my hospital room.
Wow. Well, I dated a girl for a few years that had epilepsy as well. And so I know what it looks like. And it's the first time it happened when I was there with her, it scared the shit out of me because she didn't tell me that she had it. So I was like, what the fuck is going on here right now? And of course, I did the wrong thing and tried to pull her out of it, sort of thing, right? When you're just supposed to be there, hold their head, and wait till they come out of it, which I know now. Being a level 2 first aid, I know that now, right? But
well, back when I was wearing a medical alert bracelet, it actually said on it, "Do not call ambulance," because I don't need one, and it'll cost out the ass to have one.
Right.
Don't call an ambulance. It'll be fine. Just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And not even really 5 minutes. They're usually closer to like 2 or 3. So.
Yeah. It didn't last long with her, but I was very. I had never seen one before from anyone. I'd heard of it, of course, but when she was done with it, she was just like she had just spent all the energy that she had was gone. She was really, really tired after and just wanted to rest and whatnot. So, yeah.
I mean, I've had those. I also had the ones where I was like, just perfectly fine minutes later. It really depended on the severity and also the setting, because if it was like too active around me, it could have an effect.
Right. So since the surgery, Has your food palate expanded?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. You know what? You know what I missed the most was ginger. I missed ginger so much. But also caffeine is in every damn thing, which meant that there were so many things I couldn't have, so many drinks I couldn't have. There's caffeine in chocolate, so I couldn't
Yep.
have that, and
Oh,
all kinds of stuff. I couldn't have bacon, for fuck's sake. Bacon I
what?
couldn't have. For like 8 years, I couldn't have bacon.
I'm crying. I am
I
crying
know,
on the
right?
inside. And I just got back from, well, I did this yesterday. Got back from the store with Harvest brand super thick cut bacon, the
Mhm.
Applewood. Oh man, that stuff is so good. 2 packages. They're $12 a package, people.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's crazy pants.
it's expensive stuff, but it is worth it. I'd pay $100 for a pack of that shit. All right. Well, Kate, I just want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. We've had chats many times before.
Oh, sure.
But we'll pick this up in an after party, and I've already got tons of people that want to be in here. So,
Well,
you guys,
tell the ones that don't like me they can't come in to just abuse me.
well, I wouldn't let that happen anyways. And I can't imagine that there's some people that don't like you. Holy crap, that's huge.
Yeah, I like drinking out of fire extinguishers. No, I have been trying to get more liquid into my system. So this is basically just water with a couple of teaspoons of Tang.
Nice. Oh, you know, funny story. For years, I had people convinced I had no idea what Tang was.
Really?
Yeah, and they all believe it. I'm like, they're like, you know, the astronauts drink it. You've seen the commercials. And I'm like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Is it? It's an orange drink. I'm high C.
Kool-Aid.
Orange. Yeah, Kool-Aid. I've never heard of it. They're all shaking their heads. And meanwhile, I've got a jar of it on the shelf at home. But but I had them all convinced that I had no idea what Tang was. And then finally, after a couple of years of just fucking pulling their strings, one day I admitted it to everyone that was involved with it. Anyways, stop that. Stop that.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that to date I've only told one other person. I'm going to tell it to everyone now. You know that whole thing about Shatner, where Shatner's evil and all of that.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I made it up. I thought it'd be funny.
Have you ever told anyone this yet?
I told Goth That Funk. That's it.
Okay.
So
almost an exclusive.
He asked me point blank, what is that about? And I was just like, dude, it's just something I made up. It's, So yeah, for years I've been carrying on that particular practical joke. Just no one but me knew it, so nobody but me knew it was funny. I don't know. My sense of humor is weird like that. But yeah, the whole time, like don't get me wrong, I still fucking hate Shatner, but it's not like the blood vendetta that I made it sound like. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Right.
and you remember when I was saying that French Canadians, screw French Canadians. Guess who's from Montreal?
My dad lived in Montreal for many years too, and he also lived in Florida. And he went to the school that they used in Porky's, but that wasn't the actual school from Florida. That was a different school that they named after that one. And I thought it was the actual school, but somebody said no, it was done in Canada. And then they named it after the school, South Beach High or whatever the fuck it was called.
Well, it's interesting to me how many TV shows and movies have been filmed in Vancouver, BC.
Every one of the DC ones.
And
except for The Watchmen.
But I mean, when they do the thing where they try to claim it's Seattle and they show that one building that is definitely not the Space Needle in any way, but they try to make you think that that's part of Seattle.
Yeah. That's what the hell is that called? It's had so many different names now. It used to have a revolving restaurant on top of it too, which was kind of neat. You'd make like a full rotation and you'd finally be finished by the time you got all the way around again. That's how slow it moved, but it was neat. All right, well, we're going to get into an after party. I saw you asking Glass Monster. I'll send you a link if I've got some room. If not, it's pretty full. I know it's going to be pretty full for a while, and we'll probably go for about an hour because Kate obviously has some other responsibilities and some medication to take at specific times. So she may cut out a little early on us to do that, but that's okay. But I can go for about an hour because I am on vacation right now. I'm spending some time with my biological dad up in Summerland, so I should be probably not doing this all night and spending some time with him too. So we'll definitely go for about an hour. I'm going to take a quick smoke break, and then I'll come back and give you a fresh link. So,
but real quick, this vacation, is it all you ever wanted?
Vacation, all I ever wanted. Little go-go in there.
All I could think. As soon as you said the word, it's all I could think. Anyway, so yeah, after party.
After party. That's right.
Look at Xander.
Oh, he's working on his climbing skills.
Oh, he doesn't have to work on those. Believe me.
Is he going to pay for the leather to be resurfaced? Is that?
It's actually a screen background there. It's there's no leather.
Oh,
so
I like leather.
It's mesh.
Sorry, that was Frank Zappa. Anyway, all right. Well, Kate, thanks again for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. All the links to the relative Kate stuff is down below. We got the BionicDance YouTube channel, her Twitter, the Facebook group, personal Facebook, and her Patreon. And I highly recommend you become a patron of Kate, so she'll keep making the amazing animations that she does. And I got to tell you, I'm really looking forward to the big one that you're doing right now. So I can't wait to see that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you do want to help out the show, Kitty's making trouble. You can also see some links down below on how you can help up the show or help out the show. My apologies there. And until next time, guys. Well, hang on. Before I go into that, let's just say, because we're doing the whole pandemic thing and everyone's trying to be safe, remember to stay safe and stay well. And above all, be kind. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these things, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.